Welcome back, everybody. Are you thinking of getting yourself a used car in the near future? If so, then today we are going to discuss what to look for when looking for that next new to you vehicle. Now, it is important to remember the dealership wants that car off their lot. The private seller you're buying that car from wants it gone. And they're going to be looking for the best deal for themselves. So today, we are going to talk about how to make it work for you. Now, I know I say this a lot, but it's important. Before you spend thousands of dollars on a vehicle, make sure you get yourself a vehicle history report. This will give you some back information on the vehicle you're looking at, such as, has it been in an accident? Is it a flood vehicle? Has the odometer been tampered with? No, it's not 100% foolproof, but it's good to at least get this information if you can. If the car lot or the person you're buying a car from has a problem with you getting a vehicle history report, move on. Find yourself another vehicle. Don't even waste any more time, because chances are they have something to hide. I actually went through that myself when I was looking for my first car. I was about 19. I stopped at one of those used car lots on Fulton Avenue in Sacramento. I was looking at a 94 Toyota Camry. Well, when it came to getting the vehicle history report, their printer happened to be broken that day, so he said he had to go to the Toyota dealership, which was right around the corner, to get the vehicle history report. Well, 45 minutes later, I still don't have a vehicle history report. But here's the thing, if you're buying from a lot, most of them will give you the vehicle history report for free. So the fact that that one didn't want to give me a vehicle history report, red flags. And you know, that's the thing, especially if you're 18 to 20 and you're looking for your first car, these people know what they're doing. These people know that sometimes 18 to 20-year-olds are impulsive and they'll buy something because it looks nice and nothing else. So they will try and get over on you to try and get a sale. It's just part of the game. So that's why I'm here to give you an idea of what to look at. Next is to look over the engine and educate yourself on the vehicle you're going to be buying. For instance, does your car have a timing chain or a timing belt? Timing belts have to be replaced at about 60,000 miles. And if they do, or if the timing belt has been replaced, they will usually put a little sticker giving the date it was replaced and the mileage it was replaced at. Inspect the vehicle. Look at things like your shifter. Does it look new, or does it look like it's been used a little bit? Check the pedals. You have this little design on both your gas and your brake pedal. Do those look like they're in good shape, or do they look like they're balding? Check the climate controls. Do they look new, or are they starting to fade a little bit? The reason I ask is because while the things I just mentioned don't necessarily make a bad car, if your pedals are bald, your shifter looks like it's been used a lot, your climate controls are starting to fade, but the car has low miles, it could mean the odometer was tampered with. It doesn't necessarily mean that every time, every situation, because there are some cars where that's kind of a soft spot, but it could mean that the odometer's been rolled back. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean the odometer's been tampered with every time. But if you're looking at a 15 to 20-year-old car and you can't even read AC anymore because it's been pushed so many times it just kind of rubbed off, and the car somehow only has 42,000 miles, that wouldn't necessarily add up. Also, one thing they'll do with Japanese cars, particularly Toyotas and Hondas, they'll take one that has 250, 300,000 miles on it, roll the odometer back down to about 120, and then sell it at 120 to try and make more money off of it. And generally speaking, Toyotas and Hondas, especially the older ones, are pretty reliable, so they know they can get away with it. There was one story where the guy sold his Honda Civic with 300,000 miles, and the person he sold it to had it listed a week later with 120,000 miles. So just got to be on the lookout for that too. Next thing, just do a little inspecting on the engine. Make sure your fluids are nice and clean. Make sure everything is full. You want to see nice, clean, golden brown oil like this right here. If the oil is black, or even worse, looks like a milkshake, the black oil could mean poor maintenance. The milkshake means the car's got a bad head gasket. And then, if doable, check your transmission. Make sure it's up to level. And then you also want to see nice pinkish red fluid like this right here. But again, that's if doable, because my Tacoma, for instance, doesn't have a transmission fluid dipstick, so you can't really check the transmission on this one. Then go under the vehicle, make sure the CV axles are in good shape and not torn. Check your struts, make sure they're not leaking or damaged. Also, while you're under the vehicle, check your oil pan, make sure it's nice and dry, not leaking any oil, as well as the transmission. Both should be dry. And then I'm gonna have to apologize for any wind noise in this part of the video, but when you're ready to go on a test drive, watch the tailpipe as they start the vehicle. Make sure when they start the vehicle, there's no white smoke coming out of the muffler, because that could mean the vehicle is burning oil. Now with oil burning, if you have an older car that burns about half a quart to a quart between oil changes, that really isn't that big of a deal. But if it's to the point where you have to add oil just to go somewhere, then it's a problem. Also with oil burning, you can try changing out the PCV valve, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. But if not, then you're looking at an engine rebuild. And oil burning is oftentimes caused by poor maintenance. If it's not the PCV valve, then you have oil getting past the piston rings into the combustion chamber, and your engine is burning the oil that way. So if you start the car and you get a big cloud of white smoke coming out of the muffler, move on, find yourself another car. And then be sure to check things like your radio. Obviously, I can't demonstrate that on camera. And then be sure to check things like your climate control, your four-wheel drive if the vehicle is equipped. So like right now, I'm going to put the truck in neutral, and you don't necessarily have to do this unless you're going into 4 low, but it's just something I do. All right, that click you just heard, that was the transfer case engaging, and that little green light is the four-wheel drive indicator light. I'll go ahead and turn it off now, put it back into two-wheel drive. You hear it kind of click again, and the light went off. Now it's back in two-wheel drive, which is what you want for regular driving. And then just take the car on the test drive. This would be where you will listen for any abnormalities and get a sense of what the car is really like. Listen for any strange noises. Sense to see if anything is off. Like say the car is shifting hard for some reason. This would be a good time to get the car on a busier street, somewhere where the speed limit is 40 to 45 miles an hour, and if doable, get it on the freeway so you can really open it up and see what the car is capable of. But mainly, this is where you want to listen for anything that doesn't seem right. And if something doesn't seem right, then go with your gut feeling and figure out your next move from there. Because when car shopping, it is also important to remember there's really nothing wrong per se with buying a car and putting somewhat of an investment into it. Like if you buy a car and it needs brakes, you know, that really isn't a problem. Every car is going to need brakes at some point. I mean, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, because even brand new cars can have something up with them. That's why they have a warranty. So Mainly, it's just the big things that the car absolutely should not be doing. That is what you're listening for on the test drive. And then finally, if you don't have one of these, get one. So this is mainly for finding the cause of check engine lights, but if you let it run its test, it will tell you now. Let's go back here. It will tell you if there are any pending codes. And with a pending code, the vehicle may not have a light on, but this, or you know what, maybe it is under read codes. Here we go, pending codes. So with a pending code, the vehicle may not necessarily have an engine light on, but it'll still show up with this scanner. And that way, if there is anything going on, you'll know about it ahead of time. And now you know what to look for when you use car shopping. It's really not that bad, just gotta do your due diligence. Just remember, nobody's looking out for you in this except for you and the good Lord. So be smart while you're out there talking to people and looking at cars. Also, I invite you to come check out Jesus Bible Study. I take passages from the Bible and make them relevant to today's world. Link to this week's video will be in the description. If you like today's video, be sure to like and subscribe. You guys have a blessed day.